with me, your host, Justine. Today, I am making my stuffed mushrooms. These mushrooms, I direct plays at our local Cherry Hill Theater. I have a sound man, Kelvin, and I can get him to do anything. And he'll even write letters, emails. Well, I will do this if I can get some of Justine's stuffed mushrooms. So he's like Wimpy, I'll gladly do this, but for mushrooms in the future instead of hamburgers on Tuesday. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna start off with the ingredients. And what I have, of course, are just large white button mushrooms. They're easy, they're inexpensive. Then I've stemmed them. If you can see, I took the stem out, put them over there, and I have chopped them up. So I chopped up the stems. I have sausage. It's a sweet Italian sausage, so just not hot. But if you like hot, you can add hot. My peeps don't like hot. I do, they don't. Here I have lemon juice, and I have some vinegar. I have white balsamic vinegar. Sometimes I use champagne vinegar. Depends on what I have on hand. Then I have olive oil, mascarpone cheese, panko breadcrumbs, shallots, Parmesan cheese, lemon zest, parsley, garlic, and then salt and pepper. So let's start this by starting to cook the sausage. And you just put it in here. This tool right here, I got at some party that I was invited to, where you buy kitchen tools, and I don't usually like to go to those parties, so if anybody's thinking of inviting me, don't. But this tool is absolutely wonderful. It just gets in there and it just mushes up your meat, and it does a really good job. So what I'm gonna do now is I'm just gonna brown my meat. In the interim, I have a little bag here, and I am going to put my mushrooms in my bag, and I'm gonna marinate them. I'll just shove them in there. And the marinade is really easy. It's olive oil, the lemon juice, and the vinegar. Whatever kind you have on hand is fine. Like I said, I use the white balsamic, and I used a little lemon juice to make it more acidic, I guess, because it almost tasted like grape juice. So I didn't want it too sweet. I have that in there. And then I put in the olive oil. Nice thing about white button mushrooms, they take any type of flavor you have. So I'm just gonna, every once in a while my meat is browning, I am just going to toss them around. And it gets them their flavor. Now that my sausage is browning, I want to add in my shallots, and my shallots first. Kind of give those a little bit. Just give them a little bit of time to cook. Then you're going to put in your garlic and your mushrooms. Let your mushrooms cook down. It smells so good. I know they always say that, right? And you're like, it could smell horrible, and you wouldn't say, but nothing smells better than garlic and onions, except on your date or your spouse. But when you're talking about food, garlic and onion, way to go. Could you imagine if they bottled garlic onion perfume and you went on a date? Yeah, you wouldn't be going on a second date, right? So let's get the mushrooms in here. And this will add moisture because the mushroom stems have moisture. We just want to get those done for just a little bit. So they get a little bit of color on them too. And if you notice your pan is a little bit dry, you can always add a little olive oil. But your mushrooms, when you marinate them, they're going to have oil. And you're going to add cheese, which will give, moisture, a little bit of gooiness. to this, so you don't want to get it too moist with oil, and it ends up being greasy. So I prefer to do a dry pan because the sausage has enough fat in it, I believe, depending on what sausage you use. Now I'm going to add panko crumbs. Yay! So it makes it it soaks up any of the flavor, because some of that fat in there, it holds really good flavor. You don't want to drain it. The panko soaks it up, and then when you add the cheese, it becomes like a binder. Add a little of my lemon zest while I brown some of my crumbs. Add some salt, pinch of salt, pinch of pepper. Now I'm going to add the cheese, and the cheese is just going to melt in it. It's going to make it soft. I'm going to turn it off because I don't want the cheese to cook. I just want the cheese to melt in there. Add the Parmesan. That's the last thing. And if you want, when it's done, you can grate a little bit more Parmesan cheese. This is Parmesan Reggiano. And you can grate it over the top. But if you put it on, it gets a little hard. And so these are nice and very good. I don't want it to be hard. All right. I'm going to add in my fresh parsley. Because remember, this will bake. We put them in the oven and we let them bake for about 30 minutes at 350. So the parsley will give it a fresh flavor. So if you see, it's like stuffing. See? That's what you want. You want it to be like stuffing because it is. All right, we will be right back. Let me finish doing this. I'll get my mushrooms prepared and then we will start putting them together. Okay? Thank you. Be right back. We're ready to stuff them. So you know those big mushrooms that they charge you, $5 per mushroom? You can make your own. You don't have to buy them at the deli counter at your store. I'm making a couple of pans for these. I'm going to take them to my brother, one to my brother, and one will go to Mark, my cameraman. So we just stuff them. See how nice that sticks? And you can overload them. Isn't that pretty? Look at that. All I'm going to do is put these in. You may have a few mushrooms left over, depending on how full you stuff them, or you may have some of the stuffing left over, which doesn't hurt my feelings at all. Although if you ask Kelvin, my sound guy, it's all about the mushroom. For me, I love the stuffing. And you can use this stuffing to stuff chicken. You can use it as a roll-up for a noodle and put a little white sauce on it, like an Alfredo or whatever you want. Cheese sauce would be very good. The Alfredo would be good. So you would just take a lasagna noodle, spread it with this, roll it up, put some Alfredo on it, bake it. Nummy, nummy. Maybe I'll show you how to make that next. Maybe not next. There's so much I want to show everybody that I get so antsy. I've got them all stuffed. Just gonna drizzle a little of the marinade. And it's okay. It wasn't touching protein, but even if it was, I'm putting it in with the other stuff. And it's gonna be cooked. Just put it in. There you go. I'm gonna bake these at 350 for about 30 minutes. We'll be back to taste them. I can't wait. They're so good. And it's not even Thanksgiving. All right, see you in a second. So my mushrooms are done. See how they're a little brown on the top? Very good. That's so good. get it. Ooh. It's very hot. I mean, they just came out of the oven. Get some mushroom. This is gonna hurt. The cheese and the meat and the panko, it is like, you get the texture of the meat, it is, and then the cheese with the Parmesan kick, it is loveliness. It is so delicious that you're just gonna wanna serve this at every party. The mushroom is nice and tender. It's all these textures to it. And when you put the cheese on it, if you like it baked, I'm taking these to others, so I'm not baking the cheese on it. You get that crusty cheese on top. Very, very good. Get that kick of vinegar. Just a little. I mean, it's not so overpowering that that's all you taste. It is so good. Remember, go to www.justinthekitchen.com if you want these recipes and all my other ones. Remember, like, share, and subscribe. There's going to be a button down in the bottom. Click on it. It will subscribe you to my YouTube channel. If you click the bell, it will notify you when I put new recipes up every time. All right. Well, thank you. God bless. I've had fun. Hope you enjoy these. Hope these become part of your Thanksgiving. God bless. Have a great day.